the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Here to help us figure out how to navigate the financial waters of married life is a good friend of mine, Preston Allex, who's the CFO, that's the Chief Financial Officer of Relevant Radio, and the President of Catholic Legacy. Please remember, the content of today's show is entirely for educational purposes. It's not a replacement for mental health diagnosis or treatment. And calling in the show does not establish a therapist relationship with me.
And also, I'm a CPA, but I am not giving any official accounting or legal advice.
Yeah.
So this, again, as well as Doug's situation, I am not giving any specific advice to any specific people for that kind of
It's all
circumstance.
educational. Let's talk about Catholic Legacy, because there's nothing else out there like it that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Give us the 30,000-foot view and then drill down for us, please.
So Catholic Legacy is a ministry of Relevant Radio. We built a platform online, catholiclegacy.com, that allows anybody to go on and do estate planning through this platform. It has 4 forms right now that people can work through. Number 1 is a will. So you can go online and create a will through our form. You just answer some questions, it documents everything, and then it creates a legal document at the end that you can sign and use. The next option that we have and product would be a Catholic healthcare directive. So we worked with the National Catholic Bioethics Center to have a authentically Catholic healthcare directive. This helps you make some really informed decisions around healthcare. If you can choose the agent, the power of attorney for healthcare, and that person will make decisions for you, but then it gives them some context of how you want those decisions to be made. So we cover everything from DNR, do not resuscitate orders, palliative care, organ donation, and we even include something called emotional support, where you can say, I want loved ones to be there. You can ask for last rites. There's some really important Catholic things. Ask for a chaplain that get incorporated, as well as the official legal stuff.
Let me just stop you right there, because this idea of last rites is really, really important, because a lot of folks, unfortunately, their kids aren't practicing the faith.
Yep.
And I've come across situations. I have a son who's a priest who's come across situations. And I have a daughter who's a nurse who's come across, and a son who's a funeral director who's come across situations where the person wanted last rites, but the kids would prevent it, or the spouse said, no, you're not going to do it. If you got it in writing, they've got to do it.
Now the hospital has a way to overturn.
Correct. Just because your kid says, we don't need no priest around here, it's like they ask for
healthcare directive, legally binding document. Yes,
that's right.
So
that's a really big deal.
That is a big deal, and it's also important with this world of assisted suicide and euthanasia going crazy. Yeah. I'm aware of at least 13 states that have assisted suicide laws, and more are working on them.
Oh yeah.
And so there's a reality where in the future, they're gonna try and push this as the norm, that people get it to a certain point and your time's done. And we do not want that as a Catholic Church. We want to fight against that, and we want to fight against atheistic family members from pushing that on us.
Absolutely right. And I think, and I don't remember the exact statistics, but something like 50% of the money the average person spends on healthcare in a lifetime, they spend in their last year. And so you get...
It's very expensive.
It's very expensive that last year of life. And so you get people, the kids or whatever, who are in line to inherit a bunch of money. They're like, I don't want to spend I want that money to come to me. You're going to die anyway. Why don't we just pull the plug early?
Or worse.
Or worse.
Or worse.
Or worse. So this is why these healthcare directives are so really important. And they're scary. They're confusing. How do I know I'm actually doing it in a way that's moral and the church approves? You've got the answer right here.
Yeah. It's super simple. Just go to catholiclegacy.com. You just go in, you go to my forms, and you click start the healthcare, and it just says, what's your name? And then we walk through, who do you want to make decisions for you? And then you say, we have suggested language for these different situations that come up, and you can say to include it, or you can rewrite it the way you want it to say it, and it's super easy.
It's my wife and I have done it, and it's unbelievably simple. I mean, it really. She brought her computer in the car. We had a long drive. Why don't we just do it while we're driving? And we did. Right on.
There you go. Super easy. And then some other products we have. So there's something called a funeral planner, cemetery and wake. So you can get all of the pre-planning for your funeral done, but also planning for a recently departed loved one. So what's great about this is it's got Catholic elements where you can look at the Catholic Mass and go through the different components, the readings, the songs, the who's going to do the readings, the pallbearers, the general intercessions, all the Catholic elements. But then it's got kind of just secular important things like what funeral home are we using? Where is the funeral luncheon going to be? What time are these different services going to be? Where is the wake going to be held? You can have things like even a hotel block for family coming in and out of town. You can talk about what you want to be buried with. What clothes do you want to be buried in? What kind of casket do you want? I mean, we have everything in there where people can do it. But why is this really important for Catholics? It's especially important for an older generation who has kids that left the faith, because we are seeing a massive decline in funeral masses. We have a study that came out this year that there's a 40% decline in funeral masses over 3 years.
Believe it. Over 3 years.
Over 3 years, 40%.
Right.
I mean, it's unbelievable. These kids that are just wanting to save the money and not deal with the hassle, they're just cremating and scattering ashes. There's no respectful burial in a sacred cemetery. And so having this funeral plan allows you to document what you want for your kids to follow. Mm-hmm. And it also makes it easy for them to follow. So as an example, my dad owns a cemetery plot somewhere in the Midwest. I don't know where it is, but I know that it's in his funeral plan. So I can find it. I can find it now that he's gone through and documented this. Mm-hmm. But for a lot of families, I've talked to coworkers here, their kids have no idea anything that they've done for these kind of setups at a funeral home or at a cemetery. And so this allows you to document all that stuff. Yep. And then also if you have a loved one that's passed away, this is super easy because it shows you all the different steps you have to do, because so many decisions have to be made so quickly after that passing. This allows you to quickly go through those process of things.
So I one of my sons is actually a funeral director.
Okay.
And he's constantly on my wife and I. You need a pre-plan. You need to get all this stuff spelled out, because if it's spelled out before we die, it's so much easier for everybody.
So much easier.
Including the funeral director.
Yeah, there you go.
and it's like, problem is, the people are very emotional.
Yes.
When they're making arrangements for your funeral, and they oftentimes make bad decisions. They make expensive decisions they wouldn't have to make otherwise.
There you go. That's a better way of saying it.
I wouldn't say bad decisions, but they're overcome. And if you make the decision what the casket's going to be and where you're going to be, that takes such a burden off of the people who are left behind.
And it can, like you said, save them some financial hassle from overspending because they're emotionally grieving.
Yeah, exactly right. So. Huge, good idea. And again, the form, unbelievably simple.
Super simple, super easy to use.
Yep.
And then the last thing that we offer on there right now, we have more to come. And I mentioned this early in the show, it's called the Digital Account Keeper, where you can track all your assets, expenses, loans, social organizations, social media accounts. It's not username and password. It's literally just where are all my accounts? I have my checking at Wells Fargo. I have my investment account at Fidelity. I have my life insurance at Knights of Columbus. Yeah. I have these 8 social media profiles. And it's just so if you're incapacitated or you pass on, or now there's certain circumstances with Alzheimer's and dementia, if they can document where all the money is and where all the accounts are, now you have it documented so you can find it. It's not so much that you need to be able to log into the account. You just need to go to the bank and say, hey, I have a loved one that just passed away. I know he has an account at this bank. Let's work through this. And then you can.
And they've got procedures in place.
And they have procedures in place to take care of it.
Whatever.
And so it's all taken care of. But you need to know where to go.
Yeah, exactly right.
So that's what that account keeper allows you to document.
I love that too. We haven't done that.
It's a game changer. I mean, and
this has got to be kind of new. We haven't done this.
Yeah, that's new. So that account keeper is new, and it's great for. I mean, you could have $100 million net worth, or you could have a $20 net worth, but it's still going to be helpful because it's documented. Hey, this is where my car loan is. This is where my mortgage is. This is where my lease is. So. If something happens to you, you don't want your car repossessed. You don't want the house taken away. Right. You want your family to be able to take care of these things.
Yeah, and to your point earlier, in the old days, all the bills came in the mail. So after 30 days of collecting the mail, you knew everything.
You know where it all is.
Now
it's all hidden in online statements, and you might see it once a year if you're really monitoring emails.
Well, and the thing that really just irritates me are these, when you sign up for some subscription service for something and it automatically renews every year. And if you don't go out and stop it,
it's going to go. It's just going to eat away at that estate forever.
Well, and I ran into this, and maybe you know something about this. So I had a subscription service for a computer, to protect a computer protection thing against hackers,
antivirus,
right?
Or sure,
antivirus thing, right? And it was to credit card A, which I then I did away with credit card A.
Yep.
Okay, I closed the account.
There you go.
And then I'm looking at a different credit card, and all of a sudden I've got a bill from the computer people on a different credit card.
Wow.
And I called them. I said, "How did you charge a card that I don't have on record with you?" They said, "Well, we've got an agreement with Visa and MasterCard that if one card shut down, we can go to a different card as long as it's, a Visa or MasterCard without my authorization." They said, "Yeah." I said, "That's good to know. I want to cancel my service now, and I want a refund." I had this conversation yesterday.
Okay.
So that's what you got to really know what these recurring things are. You got to know where they are, right?
And so that's what. And did I mention everything on Catholic Legacy is totally free because it's a ministry.
Didn't.
It's a ministry that we are there to help people plan, and we do not want any barriers. We want to help, especially people that might not have the means to do this estate planning. We obviously recommend an attorney, but if you don't know an attorney personally, or don't know where to start with an attorney, or you want to just get started, this is a great place to go. And like I said, it's super easy to use, and it's it's a game changer. And this isn't just for you. This is a stewardship and gift to your family. Especially with wills in particular, this from marriage therapy. There is so much infighting that can happen with families after a passing, and there's estate matters needing to be resolved. I know a family member that didn't want to talk to a sibling for many years because there was a fight over a dog. And who gets the dog? Yeah. And all of a sudden, now there's family conflict, and because there's grief associated with it, it becomes 10 times worse.
Well, that's it, right? And so right. And Mom said, she always told me that I could have that ring.
Yep.
It's like, well, she never told me you could have that ring. What do I get in? And it's like,
but if it's in the will, and what's great about the will that we did on Catholic Legacy, you can actually do specific gifts of specific items. So you can say, I want my wedding ring to go to this person. I want my heirloom Bible to go to this person. I want my favorite rosary to go to this person. You can actually gift specific items. So that way there's less fighting, because it's better to have your children and loved ones to be mad at you when you're passed away than to be mad at each other.
Yeah, right.
You're not going to care at that point, but your siblings will matter. Their siblings in that relationship do matter even after your passing. So that's really important.
All right. So, and I think the important thing is this is a service from Relevant Radio. Yeah. And it's also, I think also, so you are also reaching out to dioceses and parishes to make this available.
Yeah, so we want to help people know about and find Catholic Legacy. So now, not only did we build Catholic Legacy for our listeners and donors and you guys that are listening right now, we want everybody in the church world to know about this. So we are now partnering with parishes and dioceses to help roll out this platform to the parish level, and the parish gets benefits from marketing resources and the ability to talk to people about these issues. It's going to help the parishes where a lot of this logistical details of funerals are going to get figured out. It's going to help more funeral masses happen. It's going to help with more charitable bequests to churches, because most people in this country do not have a will. They're willing to make a donation to the church in their estate, but they don't have a will. So if we can take care of that barrier of the will, that money is now going to have a little bit going to the church. So the church benefits and the people benefit. So if you know any pastor or religious order or diocese or apostolate, if you have anybody connected, give us a call. Just go to catholiclegacy.com and click nonprofits.
It's the best game in town, and it's absolutely free, which is just mind-blowing. I don't know what the dollar equivalent would be of this if you went to a lawyer, but it's many, many thousands of dollars.
It's not cheap. Let's just put it that way. But that's not to say that we're replacing attorneys. That's to say that we're helping you get started, and
a lot easier for an attorney to review what you've done than to create it from scratch.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Okay. Well, and the whole thing about Mass, too. I mean, my son who's the funeral director. Yeah. It's like, most people now are having cremations, they're not having visitations, and they're not having Masses.
It's so sad.
And it's sad.
It's sad. So plan your funeral so your family knows what to do.
All right.
That's my
Good.
last word.
Preston, this is great, man. We are almost entirely out of time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
This has been great fun. I wish I'd have been doing it earlier, so we'll do it again.
That was the Best of the Week on Relevant Radio. The best way to listen to the Best of the Week is on the Relevant Radio app. Free and always free. Download and share the #1 free Catholic app today in the App Store.